Something stirs within the shadows across Middle-earth. Eyes watch patiently with foul intent from hidden spaces. Mouths whisper from darkness to corrupt the minds of the just. Hands reach with greedy fingers from unwatched places to grasp for power and wealth. Who will raise their own light against the spread of this darkness? Who will stand against the unknown danger that creeps ever closer? To where shall we look for heroes?
It is with a sense of sadness at the passing of an era that the elves of LOTR bid Bilbo farewell. He had arrived in the Golden Wood by a circuitous path, which began with a desire for one last grand adventure before he retired. Alas, his wish was not to be. The crafty old hobbit had instead found only danger, as he was kidnapped by spiders and carried off by their orcish allies. Rescued in the nick of time, Bilbo recovered his health under the watchful care of Celeborn and Galadriel. During the weeks that followed, Bilbo sat amongst the golden leaves and chatted with the many visitors who called upon him. Yet the time came at last for him to return to Rivendell, and so with an escort of elven guardians, he set off toward his adopted home. Ever vigilant, the elves have turned their attention to the dark stirrings in nearby Mirkwood. Bilbo was not the only person abducted. Contact has been lost with entire villages, scattered within the great forest. Concerned with what dark portents these happenings might herald, Celeborn and Galadriel called you forth. As Bilbo's rescuers, they consider you particularly well-suited to find the answers that their scouts have been unable to uncover. You are commanded to set out for Rosgobel, and there to seek the counsel of Radagast the Brown. The wizard should help shine a light on the shadowy events transpiring in darkest Mirkwood. You gather what you need quickly, and set out for the vales of Anduin and Rosgobel beyond.
The mouth of Dol Guldur pondered his troubles. The mighty orc chieftain Uthak had suffered recent losses, but had recovered quickly. Despite the setback, he had not only made good on his quota, he exceeded it handily. Still, the desire from the south is insatiable. The order had come to increase their numbers even further. The mouth did not question his master, or his master's master. Indeed, he had no free will of his own. His master's command was his duty to obey. Considering his options, he comes to a conclusion. To obtain the numbers requested, they must go further afield from Dol Guldur. The mouth would need assistance if he was to misdirect any unwanted eyes that might take notice. He would need to set in motion other troubles that would distract the curious and lead them astray.
Perhaps an old terror.
He muses.
A forgotten terror. Yes.
He whispers.
This might suffice.
Your party spends several days crossing the Vale, basking in the gentle sunlight that warms the late spring air to caress the grasslands. The journey is uneventful, until you come across an odd scene. Ahead, you spy an eagle circling above something that has caught its eye. This is not one of the great eagles of legend, but rather a bedraggled thing with dark feathers and oddly curved wings. It calls out once before diving swiftly down upon something you cannot see. Quickening your pace, you soon discover a horrifying scene. Two bodies lie before you, bloody and torn. The craven eagle is attempting to make off with one. With the eagle distracted, a swarm of greedy rats darts from the underbush to devour the other. You must drive off the foul beasts and recover these poor souls. Perhaps you may also discover the nature of what slaughtered them in this clearing.
I've searched for your trail.
He stands not alone.
A gift I will give you.
Still to be learned.
You would die before your stroke fell.
The enemy is upon us.
A red sun rises!
The enemy is upon us.
For Rivendell!
Welcome to Rivendell.
You breathe so loud I could shoot you in the dark.
The presence of wolves beyond the borders of Mirkwood bodes ill for the people of the Vale. They did not appear to be starving beasts. Rather, they attacked with cunning and purpose. Something drives these creatures. Perhaps the Brown Wizard will have sorely needed answers. Barely have you continued on when you hear a distant howl from the hills beside your path. An answering howl sounds from behind you, and more beasts call out from all around. The wolves show great cunning and appear to be herding you, but for what purpose you know not.
The enemy is upon us.
For Rivendell!
You would die before your stroke fell.
Follow me!
You would die before your stroke fell.
For Rivendell!
before your stroke fell.
Gul Zubard felt the hunger deep within her. It was not a hunger for flesh to nourish her body so much as an urge to devour and destroy. Bidden though she was by the servants of the One, she was only too eager to drive her children forth, so they might succumb to their baser nature, to revel in destruction, to consume.
The wolves close behind, you reach the eaves of Mirkwood at last. So near to Roscabel, you fear the worst for the wizard who dwells there. But you'll never make it to that place of sanctuary if you do not stop your pursuers first. While the trees offer some cover, they will also slow your progress. Within the woods, the wolves can easily surround you and attack from all sides. You must make your stand here if you are to survive the day. The wolves snarl and prowl through the undergrowth to encircle you. Taking advantage of this scant moment of respite, you gather nearby sticks, rocks, and other detritus to create a last desperate barrier against imminent attack.
A red sun rises!
For Rivendell!
Lonely, rangers of the wild.
For Rivendell!
A red sun rises! forces!
For Rivendell!
I bring news from Rivendell.
The enemy is upon us.
You would die before your stroke fell.
For Rivendell! For Rivendell!
The creature called the Ghost hesitates for a moment at the edge of the tree line. Concealed behind lush vegetation, she spies upon the dwelling in the center of the clearing. There is power here. The crafty old beast had learned to respect power, especially the kind of power that might cause her injury. Her faithful companions prowl nearby, as always. They would offer their own lives if needed to protect their mistress. Each looks toward her, sensing her hesitation, seeking her guidance. With a grunt, the Ghost at last indicates the compound. As her master had commanded, so it would be done. It is time to feed.
Oh, calamity. You've defeated the pursuing wolves, only to find Roscabel under siege by many more, and led by a great beast larger than the rest, but with the look of something far more sinister. This is no simple wolf, or even warg, but one of the great beasts of old that inhabits their form. A werewolf. Two great wargs protect the creature, hewing close to its side. As they turn to face you, the rest of the pack charges the gates of Roscabel, their claws gouging into the rough-hewn wood. You know not if the wizard is in residence, but it's clear the beasts are driven by a singular need to enter the compound within. You must prevent these creatures from breaking down the gate while holding off their terrifying leader. No mean task. The great werewolf howls in challenge, and you unleash a rallying cry in return. The battle is joined.
have an urgent errand.
A red sun rises!
For Rivendell!
I am your servant.
Nothing passes unnoticed.
The enemy is upon us.
A red sun rises!
For Rivendell!
Look before you leap, I always say. Away with you!
The enemy is upon us.
Farewell.
You would die before your stroke fell.
The beast howls with a mixture of pain and anger, eyes flashing as it comprehends defeat. Summoning unknown reserves of strength, the werewolf leaps into the trees and disappears through the darkness. You join your companions to catch your breath as Radagast the Brown staggers through the gates of Roscabel. Breathing heavily, he calls out,
"Ah, my friends! I thank you for coming to my aid. Though that creature is not dead, it shall not return any time soon."
Before you can make any inquiries or describe the nature of your mission, the eccentric old man darts off towards a small path in the trees.
"There's no time to dally about on my front lawn,"
he shouts.
"This was just a distraction. There's a village nearby whose residents are in jeopardy.
He pauses at the tree line, turning back to face you.
Don't just stand there with your mouths agape. Hurry!
The wizard disappears into the trees, and you scramble to follow.
The body of the beast falters. Yet though her breath comes in laboured gasps, the vile fire that drives her remains undimmed. The master will not be pleased. Still, this is a worry for the future. For now, the hunger remains. Perhaps she could find some local hunter or woodsman, or even a wretched goblin to sate her never-ending need. Yes, the master will not miss one or two of those foul creatures. Licking her wounds, the silver ghost slips deeper into Mirkwood, driven ever on by her need to consume.